Hey friends, it's me Lex. So check this out. You guys need evidence, don't you? What is it? Resolution 1360. A resolution expressing the sense of House that the Reverend Sun Myung Moon appeared before the subcommittee on international organizations investigating Korean-American relations. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay, look at this. It says 9/20/78. Who sponsored that? Yeah, this guy right here, Connecticut Democrat. See, I don't even know who that is because, see, I'm not familiar with every single one of them. But look, 9/20/1978 expresses the sense of the House of Representatives that Reverend Sun Myung Moon returned to the United States prior to October 31, isn't that weird, right on Halloween 1978, appear before the subcommittee on international organizations investigating Korean-American relations and fully respond to all questions of the subcommittee. Okay, you know, I can't make this up. This is straight off of congress.gov, all right? In the 95th Congress, House Resolution 1360. Now, I went down to the law library, and this is what I found. Thank you for the query. Okay. Here's the response I got when I requested the records. Okay. I wanted the transcript. So I have to go through all of these or something to deal with it. So that is just another topic. But 37 years ago, in recent months, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon's Unification Church has hosted at least 25 Idaho Republican legislatures at communism awareness seminars in Los Angeles, Salt Lake, and Denver. The perception that communism is a threat to religious and political freedom is the common thread that draws together Republicans from a conservative Rocky Mountain state and members of the controversial evangelical Korean-based Unification Church. Who are the members, right? Are they still in existence? Now come over to here. Korean-based, they're foreign invaders, okay? Foreign invaders. July 5th, 1985. But these conferences may yield political divides for the church by helping to improve its public image. The Unification Church, which claims a worldwide membership of how many? 3 million people. And you know what? That was 37 years ago. Has been widely criticized for its recruitment practices. Now, this is key, right? This is only God can do this. So, my birth year. In 1982, so every time I get a fact that says 1982, I know for a fact that it's speaking to me. In 1982, its leader, the Reverend Mr. Moon, was convicted of income tax evasion. Okay? He was released from prison to a halfway house Thursday and will have completed 13 months of an 18-month sentence when released from federal custody in August. Who else? Income tax evasion, right? Convicted of income tax evasion. Okay, Jared Kushner's dad, same thing. And guess who freaking gave him immunity and squashed it all? Donald Trump. Yeah, look into that, somebody. So let's keep going here. Okay. Through these conference connections, they have built up a coalition. They really have gotten some political clout, says Priscilla Coates, director of the Cult Awareness Network in Albany, New York. Because the activist arm of the church paid room and board, and in most cases travel expenses for legislators and a host of ministers to attend its 3-day seminars on combating communism. I'm telling you guys, this is no joke. Trump is no joke, okay? The people have the right to know. I don't know why you're not telling people, but it's God's in control, but still. The conferences are an investment to promote CASA's worldview, says CASA U.S. President Philip Sanchez. All these people, whoever these are, they're freaking, God, they're not even terrorists. They're, they're just committing. It's hard for me to put into words what God is saying, but something along the lines of, we're under attack, seriously. And if you can't get that, Trump is part of this, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't fix stupid. Alright. Sorry, this just makes me so mad. Okay, it's initially an expensive proposition. I feel the payoff is good in that if you have conferences with communicators, legislators, and ministers, hopefully they can communicate with their communities, homes, families, churches, whatever, he says. That also sparks for me a vision I had, but I'll have to tell that to you later. Hopefully they can communicate. So who's the ministers? Who's the legislators and ministers? We were delighted, of course, at the group from your state, Mr. Sanchez said, adding that the number of lawmakers from Idaho was unusual. What does that mean? I'm about ready to go to my governor with this and actually interview him. The stress at the CASA conferences is not on legislators, by the way. It is very certainly on ministers. Legislators who attended the conference say seminars covered the history of communist thought, the spread of communism in the Western world, and CASA's fight against the spread of communism. Some legislators said that there was little mention of Unification Church and no pressure to join or talk about the church. State Senator Atwell Perry said he had misgivings about accepting a free trip to Los Angeles, but his misgivings were put to rest when he heard workshops on CASA's perception of the communist threat. Not at any time was there any pressure, any mention of the Unification Church, he said. Sanchez says that at evening session of the conferences, a film is shown that documents the role of Colonial Bo High Pack in the Koreagate congressional influence peddling scandal. I don't even know what that is. Colonial Park, who is president of CASA International and is Moon's deputy, was implicated but acquitted. One legislator, Representative Joanne Wood of Rigby, said she had misgivings about accepting airfare, room, and board from CASA for her trip to Los Angeles, but changed her mind after the conference. I have come away with a great deal of respect, and I am not willing to accept these charges of wrongdoing by the Unification Church without any proof, she said, adding that she was quite sure the Unification Church would get more positive treatment after this. Other Idaho lawmakers who attended remained skeptical. We all went on a look-see basis, said Representative Dolores Crow. I still feel a little antsy about having the Unification Church involved. Idaho Democrats have begun to make political hay of the trip, asking the legislators who attended CASA conventions to explain to voters what the church wants in return and what the taxpayers gained by the trips. So now, this was 37 years ago, okay? Oh yeah, I'm starting to get these guys down here. So, it was introduced 9/20/78. All right. House Committee. Okay. Referred to House Committee on International Relations topic. Reverend Moon and Korean. Central Intelligence Agency and political campaign funds. Oh, yeah, this is getting good, right? Now, they also go under Holy Spirit Association, and here is actually a court case, because they have Holy Spirit Association and then versus New York Times, right? They've got so many court cases, I cannot even begin to tell you. Now, okay, here we go. So I went down and I got the transcript myself. I realized how I could do that. So now this says Congress should investigate the plot to overthrow Nicaragua's government. Nationally syndicated column and respected journalist that elements of U.S. Central Intelligence Agency have provided covert assistance to the Sandinista communist guerrillas to help their effort to overthrow Nicaragua's duly constituted government. Sandinista guerrillas are being led by Mexican Marxist Victor Manuel Tidro, and that guerrilla training and other support is being provided by Castro, Cuba, Costa Rica, and possibly even Venezuela. Okay. Far from being an internal uprising, what has been termed a civil war in the press, Sandinist terrorist assault appears to be carefully orchestrated, plotted, instigated, and supported by outsiders to topple another anti-communist government in Central America. I believe that the Congress has a duty to immediately investigate these charges of CIA covert assistance to these guerrillas behind the scenes activities of our State Department officials and foreign interlopers in Nicaragua, respectively, of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the House International Relations Committee, right, to request an investigation. It is a moral outrage that our leaders are not publicly condemning the Sandinist insurgency and leading efforts to support the government of Nicaragua in its defense against armed overthrow by communist revolutionaries. So our ambassador to the Organization of American States, Gail McGee, yesterday even further encouraged the insurgency in a statement before the OAB Permanent Council. In light of our government's behind-the-scenes overtures and dealings with these revolutionaries, Ambassador McGee made the shocking statement that generosity and sympathetic understanding would be required from the United States and other OAS members when the peaceful democratic solution becomes a reality in Nicaragua. So implicit in the ambassador's statement is an acceptance of the Marxist line are part of democratic solution, which is outrage coming from a member of our own government's diplomatic corps. Look at this. Ambassador's statement was a veiled bribe. So now let's come down to here. It was not until the administration, however, that key U.S. officials favorable to the Marxist so-called democratic solution, who have attained top policy-making roles in the State Department, have been able to implement United States behind-the-scenes encouragement and support of an armed communist assault against a duly constituted government in Central America. Mr. Speaker. All right, this is crazy. Okay. I should note for a second record, Mr. Speaker, that this Cuban interest in helping the Marxist revolutionaries from Nicaragua after the April 1961 Bay of Pigs invasion was prompted by Nicaragua having been a staging area for anti-Castro Cubans who were also being aided by our own government under President Kennedy. Human rights campaign has fallen short into the hands freedom as we know it is not possible under those circumstances. Charges of human right violations. Communist control will have been abided and assisted by our own government's tragic policy and actions. Our government made a similar trade mistake in 1959 when we followed the same misguided, morally bankrupt policy that the replacement of a semi-military anti-communist government by insurgent revolutionaries would lead to a return to democracy. The government that we sold down the river to communist rule in 1959 was the Cuban government of, look at that, Fulgencio Batista, the communist revolutionary who was supported by our own government and who was hailed as the shining here to bring freedom and democracy to this neighboring island, was none other than Fidel Castro. And our government is, sorry, I'm having a hard time holding this and reading at the same time through my camera. All right. Okay, sorry. So you see that? What did I put here? Only God, why? In God we trust. What TF? Truth on the record cannot be denied. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I was just trying to read it a little bit. The administration's dogmatic human rights policy has rendered it unable to support and take strong action in behalf of anti-communist military government and a vital ally of the United States. This vacillation is being interpreted by communist elements throughout the world, as well as our anti-communist friends, as a sure sign of weakness on the part of the United States. Such a sign of weakness will prompt the Soviet Union and its client revolutionary regime in Cuba to concentrate on increasing targets of opportunity throughout the world, including our own hemisphere. Nicaragua is a key country in Central America. It contains a potential transocean canal site in the event that one is needed in addition to the Panama Canal. If Nicaragua falls under Marxist rule, that site will be denied to free world nations, and the governments of Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, and other Latin American nations will be immediately endangered. Congress must make a firm stand and demand action by the administration now if we hope to head off further tragic circumstances that could lead to possible war to protect our own security and freedom in the foreseeable future. Now you see that? Washington News Intelligence. CIA involved with Nicaragua guerrillas. Yeah. Okay. These court case after court, these are all the documents that are associated with Reverend Moon being a CIA spy, basically, or vice versa, South Korean spy. Okay, you see this? Courts have found that the mere mention of an individual as being the subject of CIA files could be damaging to that person's reputation. We just keep going. CVON index and redacted documents. Look at all these. Diamond versus FBI, 1981. There's all these. Look at that. Named of private citizen on his letter to State Department concerning his contacts with Soviet professors. Church of Scientology of Cal versus Department of State. Okay, there you go. Here's some more. Names of persons who provided information of private citizens and government employees in FBI records compiled during internal security investigations in the 50s. Okay? This is deep. So here's all these records coming up with the Freedom of Information Act. And then we've got this one right here. Okay.